Hi everybody, my name is Chimenti. I own 3C Guiding in Laramie, and I guide in the Snowies, Sierra Madres, and Togedy Pass. I've been guiding for going on 12 years this year. We mainly just take people to do whatever they want. I mean, we're not super, this is how our program works, is what everybody wants when they come to me for a guide trip. Also, I'm a Rad Rasmussen style instructor. I am one of the few instructors for Brett that he qualifies for an instructor. So a little bit, I'm wilderness first aid, avalanche, I have a level 1 avalanche course. I used to be an instructor for Aries. Just grew up riding the backcountry, so pretty much what me and Lewis are going to do, we're going to go through basically my side of stuff of what I carry and what I do for trips have with me. Lewis is going to go through what they, as search and rescue, will bring, ask you guys to bring, and stuff like that on their side of if you are in a rescue situation. So basically I have my bags, my tunnel bag, my backpack here. I do carry more than a lot of people do just because of the guiding stuff, because there is a lot of people that don't bring a lot of stuff sometimes. They don't realize they needed the extra gloves, extra goggles, stuff like that. So some of the stuff that the main things like in my backpack is an extra set of goggles. I got a couple pairs usually. Extra sets of gloves, and for some reason throughout the year I just keep collecting them, so the bags just keep getting more and more, and then at the end of the year you open your bag and you're like, why do I not have any room in this thing? And it's stacked full of gloves. I have a baby sack for warmth. If somebody, say there's an accident, I get separated from my sled, something like that, I need to stay warm, somebody's hurt, I got one of those. I also carry one in my tunnel bag so that so if somebody needs help too, I have more than one. This is the stuff that I carry more than one. I carry water at all times in my bag, make sure I have it with me just in case I get separated from my sled. I have extra food in my bag. Then I carry like a 5-hour energy in my bag as well, because sometimes with guiding people kind of hit the wall, as we call it. They can't go anymore, so you get a little something in them and then they can make it back out of where we're at. And kind of what we talked about is you go drop into the really dumb areas early in the morning. You don't go out at, oh, it's 3:30, let's go see what's in the bottom of this valley to see how deep we can get, and then at 8 o'clock you're like, maybe we did the wrong thing here. So I also always carry a inReach to notify anybody if there's any issues. One of the big things I do with an inReach that a lot of people don't do, I don't have anybody that I ride with mainly in my inReach. So I don't have, other than like say my brother, which there's a lot of days I'm on the mountain that he's not with me, but I have people from all over the place in my inReach so that if I am in their area, they're getting the message. So I guide on Togedy, I have people that are on Togedy. I guide on the snowy range, so I have people that are around the snowy range that I don't ride with that I know will be able to come help me if I need help and get a hold of them. Also, now that sleds have USB ports, stuff like that, I always carry chargers for every electronic device that you carry and stuff, because then if your inReach is dying or your GPS or something like that, you can just plug it in, but you always just make sure that you have that stuff already charged up and all that stuff. I carry fire starter in my backpack as well, a couple different fire starters. always probe and shovel in your backpack as well. The fire starter, because sometimes the lighter doesn't work, so I always carry. So on me, there's probably like 6 different ways to light fires at all times, just because lighters don't work, then you don't have, it's just matches, all that stuff. You want to have that, because then it's real bad when your stuff doesn't work and you can't start your fire. I carry a first aid kit in my backpack. I also carry a first aid kit in my tunnel bag, which I use these bottles for, because you can put these bottles in a fire and melt water with snow and stuff, and they don't get beat up and destroyed like most other first aid kit bags. They don't get ripped up, stuff like that. And then just to stop yourself from needing search and rescue, you always want to make sure that when you leave the truck, you let everybody know where you're going. Make sure everybody's on. Also, carry a radio with me at all times. Everybody's on the same channel, because there's times people get off the wrong channel, and then you're calling for them, and then you can't get a hold of them. They never respond. Then you finally end up getting a hold of them to find where they're stuck at or what tree well they fell into. So, and then in my tunnel bag, I also carry tools, a tow strap. I use climbing carabiners on my tow strap to hook to the sled, so you don't have to tie up to it, because you end up stuck and you got to cut your rope. So if you have the carabiners, you just unhook them, get the sled unstuck, and then keep going. All my stuff is in dry bags, because when you get stuff out and it's wet, kind of defeats your purpose. Duct tape, extra socks, wool socks, stuff like that. Kind of what I carry in these bags and stuff like that on me at all times, so that everybody's safe. That's the biggest thing, is just get home safe at the end of the day. Then just make sure that everybody has, their riding ability. Don't ride them. Make sure everybody's riding too far above their ability to where they do get hurt, something like that. I don't have one, but I'm going to get a sand splint to carry in your bag. I actually use mule tape and 2 shovel handles to get a guy out with a broken leg. He snapped his ankle. We put 2 shovel handles on the side of his leg, mule taped it up, got him out. The first responder didn't even want to touch it until the ambulance got there, because it was taken care of so well. First aid classes are huge. Make sure you get a wilderness first aid, because they teach you a lot more than just your regular YMCA or something like that when you go to those classes, because you're in the backcountry. You're not where an ambulance can drive up and pick the person up off the ground and put them on a gurney and put them in the ambulance. So that's one of the things that I try to push a lot, on top of your AVI training, to make sure, because after somebody's buried in an avalanche, you need to know the proper techniques to take care of somebody if they were in if they do need medical attention. And then make sure everybody's sleds are good. That's always one of the things that can get people, is their sleds break down, just lack of maintenance, stuff like that. Then you could be in a pretty bad situation on getting your group out, and you just want to make sure that your sleds are all taken care of and set up. But that's kind of about what I have. I'll pass the mic off, and he's got stuff on what the search and rescue would want you guys to do if you do have to call them. So.
Thanks, Cameron. My name is Moeller. Sorry, I gotta get closer. My name is Moeller. I work with Colorado Parks and Wildlife up in Walden. We have a training program for our new people, as well as some other agencies. where we teach snowmobiles, avalanche, search and rescue stuff, winter survival, that kind of thing. So I'm one of the instructors for it. And I do a lot of search and rescues in Jackson County, where I live. I'm also a volunteer firefighter and EMT with North Park Fire Rescue. So if something happens in or around Jackson County, I'm probably coming, unless I'm actually out of town, just because I wear so many different hats. There's a stereotype of Colorado Parks and Wildlife. We get called snow pigs or snow cops, and they say we just check parking lots and then we can't ride and we don't go in the backcountry. That's not true at all. We ride and we ride hard, and we want to be out where people are riding. If somebody gets stuck or somebody needs help, we ride to be able to get to where they go. We do enjoy riding and snowmobiling. We enjoy taking care of the resource as well. So it's a balance, right? That's why we teach classes to the public, and that's why I'm here, in hopes that something I say is gonna help you guys help yourself. So what I'm talking about today is mostly how you can help yourself, and then help search and rescue help you. If you're there's good people we go to help, and there's bad people we go to help. Bad things happen, and you break a leg, you might need some help out. But if you're just a little bit tired, maybe you can get yourself out. So the better prepared you are, the better we can come help you. So my 3 points I'm talking about, it's being prepared, making good decisions, and then the actual search and rescue. So before you even head out, like Cameron talked about, you want to have all this right gear, have the gear, and know how to use the gear. So just having a fire starter, you can go buy one at REI, right? But not knowing how to start a fire, how to get kindling, maybe that's the Vaseline on the cotton ball, maybe it's the shredding tree bark, whatever it is. Not knowing how to use this gear doesn't make you good in the backcountry. So make sure you know how to use it. Trainings like this is a great start, right? This is a good thing to come to. Listen to somebody talk. Maybe I tell you what to do. Maybe I tell you what not to do. Maybe you ignore me, but listen to what Cameron says. His is pretty good. But take an avalanche course. Keep taking avalanche courses. I've taken a couple. I feel like I'm probably about due for another one. It's a good refresher, if nothing else. You can learn a lot. And learning from a different instructor, you can learn different things and just keep your skills up. Practice with your gear, the avalanche stuff. Practice with your transceiver. Just because you wear it and have it on your body doesn't mean you know how to use it. Practice with your probes. Practice with your shovels. Go dig a hole in a snowbank, a plow pile in a Walmart parking lot. And practice those things, otherwise you're not going to be able to do it when you actually need to. Spend a night in the snow. We talk this about a lot, right? So Cameron has all this gear to spend a night outside. Go practice that. Say tonight, you know what? We're going to sleep outside in a snow cave. I'm going to build a snow cave. I'm going to sleep in this little emergency shelter that I have. I'm going to make a fire. Do it, right? If we don't do it, we don't know that we can do it. And then when it comes down to it, you're going to be cold and tired and not be comfortable with it. And it also might not work. Maybe your setup in the end isn't going to work for you. So when you're planning to do it, that's a good time to practice it. You could do it in your backyard. If you live in the mountains where I do, I could build a snow cave in my backyard some winters. So then if it's real cold, if I got to go inside, but at least then I know if my stuff works or not, if I make it through the night. Know the area, so do your reconnaissance of where you're going to ride. If you have the places that you always go back to, or if you're going to ride someplace new, make sure that you've done your reconnaissance. Look at the maps beforehand. Look at the trailheads and the access. Look at where the avalanche slopes are and know what you're going through before you actually get to it. Phones and GPSs, they sometimes run out of batteries. Carry chargers. Sometimes your charger breaks. Sometimes your phone gets a smashed screen on it. It's too cold. The batteries don't work. Take a map. Know your way out. Maps don't need batteries. Yeah, sometimes they get ripped in the wind, but if you have a GPS and a map, your chances of getting home are better. There's a big difference between thinking you're prepared and actually being prepared. So just having all this gear and giving it to somebody who's never used any of it and sending them out in the woods, they're not prepared. It's a mental game too. You got to know how to use what you have and be prepared, not just thinking you're prepared. So just make that difference. The decisions. So making good decisions when you're actually out there. This is hopefully preventing search and rescues. I'll talk about the actual search and rescues here in a minute, but this is hopefully you guys preventing, and also when I go ride, this is things I do to prevent somebody having to come and get me. So have a plan and tell somebody your plan. My plan today is this, and this, and this is, letting somebody know. So again, somebody that's not riding with you, they need to know your plan also. But I can't come help you if there's not somebody I can get in contact with that knows your plan. And plans can be simple. I just do the 5 W's and an H: who, what, where, when, why, and how. And you just go through the list. So who? Okay, it's me and Cameron. We're going riding. That's easy. This is the experience we have, right? I have some experience. He has some experience. I know who it is. What we're doing, we're riding snowmobiles, or maybe he's on a snow bike and I'm on a snowmobile. When are we leaving? When are we coming back? Where are we going? What trail? What powder field? What hill? What mountain? Whatever it is. Why we're going? Are we just breaking in a new sled today? Are we just going out and we're just gonna do beacon drills out in the just out in the a little a slope someplace? Or are we going to climb some hill that we've never climbed, or practice side hilling, or find some deep trees that we've never been down into, or go into the hole like Cameron talked about? And then how is kind of like your overall plan, right? Like how you're going to get there, how you're going to talk on our radios that we're talking to each other, that kind of thing. And like Cameron talked about, I'll touch on it again because it's a big deal. Understand the difference between pushing yourself and riding beyond your limits. The only way we get better at anything is pushing ourselves, right? Like the first day I ever rode a snowmobile, if I hadn't pushed myself, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today. So you have to push yourself. You have to try hard. You have to do things you're not comfortable with, but know that there's a limit. So if it's day one, side hilling above a rocky cliff isn't a good idea for day one. Maybe side hilling on a nice slope that drops into a meadow, that might be a good thing for day one. So know where that line is, and don't put yourself or somebody else in danger. He mentioned it. Don't do dumb stuff early in the day. Don't drop into that hole, the tight trees, right? Do stuff early in the day. Don't drop into that tight hole when you're on the way back into the parking lot at 4:30 in the afternoon when it's negative 15 and dropping. Do it at 10 o'clock in the morning when you're energetic still. You're not freezing cold yet. You still have lots of gas. You have lots of food and water. Do that stuff early. If something does happen, so you get stuck in that hole, you break a sled, if someone is lost in your party, or if you're lost, stop and think. A lot of people, you get in that stressful situation and your brain just goes and blows up. So you need to stop and think and go, okay, can I get out of it? Do I have the gear? Let's go through our stuff. Let's make a plan and figure it out, right? So I say stop and think, make a plan, and then execute the plan. Even if your plan doesn't work, at least you had one. You said, okay, we're going to try to, tie this ski up because we bent an A-arm, or we can't ride normally, but maybe we can limp it out of here. If it works, great. If it not, then you have to make a new plan. If someone's hurt too bad to ride, stay with that person. So if me and Cameron are out and we're riding and I break my leg, he should stay with me and take care of me because I'm not able to take care of myself. I have a broken leg. If we have a group of 15 people, sure, it's okay to send somebody to go get help or maybe find the trail out. But if I can't get around, I might be able to start a fire right here in front of me, but I can't collect firewood. So if he goes off and a blizzard comes in, he gets lost or stuck or whatever, now we're in two separate spots, and search and rescue has to come find both of us, which isn't an easy thing to do. So never let anybody go anywhere by themselves. If you're getting to the point where you think you're going to spend the night, make that decision earlier than later. So if you're going out and it's 4:30, 5 o'clock at night, and somebody's stuck, start thinking about it. Don't wait until midnight to go, okay, we're spending the night out. At midnight when you're cold, tired, and it's dark, and it's getting colder, and you're getting more tired, it's harder to build a snow cave, it's harder to collect firewood, it's harder to think about signaling. Those kind of things you need to make that decision early on. And I'm an old school tough guy. I don't like admitting defeat, and spending a night out to me sounds like defeat. However, I need to make that decision. Okay, it's dusk, I have a little bit of light left, let's find a good spot, let's make a plan. We'll get it taken care of before I get super cold and dark, or before it gets dark. It's just easier to do, so make that decision. And then the actual search and rescue. So those of us that do search and rescues, we kind of enjoy it. We're kind of morbid people like that. We enjoy the helping people. So if somebody needs help, we're coming. Like this is what we do. This is what we want to do. However, if you don't need us, don't call us. So if you're dead, dying, I wrote this down because somebody told me and it's funny. If you're dead, dying, or bleeding profusely from various body parts, call search and rescue, right? If you need it, call it. If you don't need it, maybe you just need to stop and take a drink of water, eat a snack, build a fire, warm up a little bit, get your mind right, and then go, oh, okay, this isn't that bad. Let's find our way out. Let's look at that map again, and maybe we can get out of here. if you do decide to call us, right, something's real bad, you're real lost, your GPS is broken, your map blew away in the wind, and you got a broken leg, okay, cool, give us a call, we're coming. Cameron talked about this too, limited no cell phone service. There's a lot of weird places and more that you can use cell phone service or use cell phones. But if you can't, those InReach, the InReach or a spot device, and then there's a bunch of other brands. I think Marmot and some other ones have brands or have the personal locator beacons is what you actually call them. Carry one of those and know how to use it. Practice, send a message from your living room to your buddy, and he goes, that's weird, he's in his living room. He's probably okay, but now you know how to use it. A lot of those you can link to your cell phone, so you can use like the map and the texting on your cell phone, and then it just routes it through that device. So then it sends it through a satellite. If you've never heard of those, what they do is they actually send signals over the satellites, like GPS satellites, and so you can get out farther. If you're way, way down at the bottom of a canyon, it might not be able to get out, but almost anywhere that you can see the sky, you can get your GPS to work, therefore you can send a message. They're huge. It's a huge changing point in the game. And then when you do call for search and rescue, be a good reporting party. Know the details of where you are, what you need, that kind of thing. So my list of stuff is where'd you park? Oh, okay, I parked at the Grizzly Guard Station. Okay, cool, I know where you parked. What road did you drive in on? If it was a county road, if it was a highway, some people just sometimes stop along weird roads and park in weird spots. Tell us what the last town was that you passed. Oh, I passed Clark, Colorado, and pulled off in some Forest Service land. There was a trail. Okay, cool, I know where you are. At least I know where where to go look for you. The license plate of your vehicle, color type. I got a big, whatever, silver trailer and a blue Chevy, whatever. Let us know that so we can go, yep, that's your vehicle. All right, cool, that's where I'm starting. And also maybe I'll post somebody up in case you make it back before I get out to you. And then which trail direction you rode. Don't just take off without knowing where you're going. Hey, I went up this trail and then we bailed off into there's a powder field off to the right, and we did a hill climb, and then we found some trees. Okay, cool, that's pretty good directions. I might be able to follow that. What happened? Like, why are you calling? Is it a blown up sled? Is it a broken leg? Is it an avalanche? What happened? Why? What do you need us for? Who's involved? If there's just two of us riding and I break my leg, okay, cool. One guy, one broken leg. The other guy's a little bit cold and tired. All right, cool. If it's an avalanche, I got one person partially buried, and then the other person is trying to dig him out. Okay, cool. I know what that situation is. If it's a snowmobile wreck, two guys jumped over a little knob or whatever and wrecked. I got two patients, or two girls. Sorry, guys is non-biased. And then what do you need? What do you want from us? Did you just run your two sleds out of gas? Cool, I'll bring you gas. Do you have a broken back? All right, cool. I might pull a toboggan with bring a paramedic who has drugs, and I might bring a backboard and that whole deal. So what is it that you need? Are you just cold and tired and lost? That's a different situation. I could show up with my kit like this, and we'll probably ride out tonight. This is the story, and I don't like telling a whole lot of stories because you just get into story time, and I like teaching and telling stories, but this is kind of a funny one. Dispatch called me a couple years ago, and it was about 11:30 at night. I was sleeping, and they called me and they said, hey, we got a search and rescue. We got a couple snowmobilers who are lost. And I'm like, all right, cool. Where are they? She goes, Route National Forest. And I was like, where are they? And she said, that's all they told me. And so as far as I know, those people are still out there because I went back to bed. Like, that's 3 million acres. I can't search 3 million acres with no more information. So that's to be a good reporting party. With that, GPS coordinates are super helpful, right? You can tell me a drainage all day of the week, and if I call the drainage one thing and you call it something else, I might not be able to find the right drainage. So if you have a GPS coordinate, carry a GPS, carry a phone, carry an inReach, and carry a radio. A lot of those things you can get a GPS coordinate off of. Know how to use them. Practice with your phone again. Practice in your backyard. Practice in the parking lot. Go out and use your GPS so you know how to use it. Understand what coordinates are. Is it longitude and latitude? Is it UTM? Is it decimal degrees? Is it degrees, minutes, seconds? There's a bunch of different types of coordinates. So know what you're giving them, because when you have a crappy cell phone conversation with a dispatcher, the way you say it is the way she writes it down, and it may not be the way you mean, right? So make sure that you know what those are and how to use them. And then with more and more people use the phones, right? Cell phones are amazing. It's an amazing tool. We can carry it. You need to know what you can do without cell phone service. So can you use your phone? Can you use that app that you put on your phone? You have a great mapping app, but it only works in cell phone service. It doesn't do you any good when you're at the top of rabbit ears. So make sure you can use it where you want to use it, and if you have to research it or just, again, try it before you actually need it. And then with coordinates, make sure that we're coming to where the coordinates are. If you call for a search and rescue and say, these are my coordinates, I'm going to that point. Don't give me coordinates where you ate lunch. Don't give me coordinates where you found some cool hole to drop into tomorrow. Don't give me coordinates where you found an old cabin. I'm coming to those coordinates. So if for some reason those coordinates that you have and you got them right before your GPS died and it was an hour and a half ago and then all you did was head south, okay, great. Tell me that though. Make sure that whoever you're talking to knows that you gave me coordinates that are an hour and a half ago and you drove straight south from there. Because then I'll go to those coordinates and I'll drive straight south till I find you. And then the last part is the actual search and rescue. So now you've called search and rescue, you've told them a bunch of stuff, you were a good reporting party, now we're on our way to come help you. Make some sort of signal. Fires are a great signal, flagging. I'm sure Cameron's got something that you can use for flagging, even if it's an orange pack or a rescue blanket of some sort, something that works and moves in the wind. Pet peeve of mine is people will take, I call it like forestry flagging, just those rolls of flagging that everybody uses, and they'll tie a little 4-inch piece of flagging in a tree and say, yeah, I flagged this tree that I'm hunkered down under. Okay, great, I'm not gonna be see that at night in a blizzard, when I'm tired at 2 in the morning. If I flag something, there's gonna be streamers, 10, 12, 15-foot streamers blowing in the wind. It's gonna look like an orange Christmas tree. So flag it so we can see it. Fires are the same way. Make a huge fire. Went to a search and rescue where these ladies said that they had a search and rescue. They were cold and tired and lost. We got to them. They said they had a fire. We were talking to them for about 10 minutes or so, gave them some food and water, kind of got them warmed up. We were talking about our plan to get them out. And I was like, didn't you tell dispatch that you had a fire? And they were like, yeah, and they pointed at the ground right at my feet. And there was a tiny little fire. Biggest stick was like the size of my pinky. And I was like, that's not a fire. If I'm stuck and if I say there's a fire, there's 100,000 acres on fire. Like, you will know where I am, right? Because make a fire. And everybody's worried about, obviously don't start 100,000 acres on fire, but in the winter that's really hard. But start a big fire. Some people are worried, well, will I get in trouble for starting a fire? And especially with Colorado burning every year like it does. If you're gonna die, start a fire. Fires do a lot of other things too. They also keep you warm. Obviously they keep you warm. They're good for your mental health. For thousands of years before people had cell phones and the internet and all the other crap that we do, people just sat around and watched fires, right? So there's a warming effect, there's a mentally warming effect. Those are all very good for you. It also gives you something to focus on. So, hey, you're gonna go collect firewood. You're gonna get out your fire starting kit. I'm gonna find a good place to to build a fire, maybe pack down the snow. Okay, cool, all three of us have jobs, right? So it gives you something to do and focus on. Make sure you communicate with each person and see what they need. Okay, you're out of food. All right, you're out of water. Cool, can you share water? Can you share food? I got a broken leg. All right, sweet. This is what I need, this is what you need. We can talk about it. Get everybody warm and dry, and then keep people talking. When things get real bad and you get into that situation and you're cold and tired, you're hunkered down around the fire. If there's one person, guy or girl, that's sitting outside the fire and they're, like the country song, if they're sitting outside the fire, maybe they're starting to deteriorate more than they want to admit, and so they're trying to kind of keep to themselves. Get that person involved. Make sure you go talk to them, sit down and see what it is. Are you just tired and exhausted? Are you scared? Are you whatever? Talk to those people and keep them involved. And then remember that, so even after you call search and rescue, there's several parts of it. We're coming. At some point in time, we're coming to where you are to help you. It might take us a while, right? It takes a while to load up a trailer or to hook up to a trailer. It takes time to drive to wherever you are, maybe find wherever you're parked. It takes time to ride in. It takes time to find you. That all takes longer at 2 in the morning in a blizzard, which is every search and rescue you go on is at 2 in the morning in a blizzard. So it takes some time for us to get there. And then also, we do evaluate the entire situation. I'm real stubborn, and if somebody needs help, I'm coming. And I don't like saying, well, maybe we should wait till ride in the morning, but sometimes that's a better choice. If it's a blizzard blowing sideways and I can't see my hand in front of my face, and you have a snow cave built and you have a fire going and you're prepared and you're warm and dry and nobody's hurt, we might not come till tomorrow morning. I'm coming at first light, but it may not be until tomorrow morning. So don't expect that just because you call search and rescue, they're going to be there in 15 minutes. It's a slow process, and sometimes we have to evaluate, is it worth risking 4 or 5 of us on snowmobiles in a blizzard going to someplace where we don't know the avalanche, or we can't see the avalanche terrain because it's at night. Maybe it's country we haven't seen. Maybe we don't actually know where you are and we're actually searching for you. Is it worth risking all of us and all of the time and energy for that to come find you? So the more prepared you are to spend the night, the better, especially if we can't show up till the morning. And then if something happens, like I said, if we're out doing the search and rescue and then we get in a bad spot, maybe we couldn't see because of the blizzard, and we go down into some willows and we sink 3 snowmobiles, now we're stuck also, right? We just made the problem worse instead of trying to make it better, even though that's why we're going, is to make it better. That's kind of all I had. I guess if Cameron wants to come back up here, and then we're going to be open for any questions that anybody had. Anything about gear or the search and rescue side or riding, being prepared, any of that kind of stuff.
Can we have you guys on speed dial?
Yes.
And also something else is your sled has a lot of stuff that's usable on it. I forgot about that. Your seat, you can take almost all the sleds have easy to get the seat off now. Side panels, gas, all that stuff. Light fires, all that stuff. Just use your snowmobile. Awesome ways to block snow if you're in a very windy area, to help build your shelter. Use your snowmobile, your side panels, your hood, all that stuff. I mean, sled might cost $10,000 or $20,000, but your life's probably way more worth that than. So that's one of the other things.
Your life's worth it.
All right.
Yep. So any questions?
Hey, so I've been on a few SARS missions, and radio communication is always horrible. Have you guys decided on a channel?
We haven't around in Wyoming. Yeah, we've tried. But.
Yeah.
The best way that we can think to do it, so usually within the search and rescue team that's there, they have radio channels that they use. So we have ones where I live in Jackson County, and before we leave the parking lot, we say, okay, everybody that's going out, cool, we're all in the same channel. The problem is when you work with somebody else, right? We show up and we ride with, hey, you guys are there and you want to help? Cool, like let's make a plan and we can all help. The BCA radios, those the link radios, a lot of people use those, and we can talk on the same channels. I can carry the radio, you can carry the radio at the parking lot, we can set it up. As far as one universal everywhere channel, there are some channels that they say are like that, but then you can't use like a BCA radio, or you can't use a little Baofeng or whatever radio you carry. Communications are always hard. You gotta have a plan, you gotta figure out before you go. I usually have a spare radio in my truck, so if I show up at a parking lot with a couple guys and say somebody like Cameron is there, maybe I can give him one of my radios, so that then we can talk to him as we all go ride out. Or you split up and you go, okay, he's got a good radio, I got a good radio, you two are gonna ride with him, and you 4 are gonna ride with me, and then those are gonna be our radio groups, so we can talk between the groups. But yeah, communications is hard. It just is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like at one of the club meetings, you can tell everybody if we're going on a mission, go to 16, like the Marine channel.
Right, and there is some of that, mostly with the people that kind of train together, though, the predetermined, but it's better to talk about it again, even if you have a pre-planned, talk about it in the parking lot before you take off.
In my inReach, I think I have my number too, what channel I usually run.
Oh, is that right?
Yep. So when I send it
Oh
out,
yeah, when you send the broadcaster.
yep, to everybody, they get it and say, all right, he's on 333 or
Yes,
whatever.
I have that too, 16.
Yep.
The Marines.
Yep. So.
Any other questions?
I think we're
Nothing?
yeah.
Cool.
We're about out of time too. So.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.